In the second week of June, we'll be facing two of the largest events in humanity's calendar. The FIFA World Cup in Brazil, and of course, the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles, otherwise known as E3. So today I'm just taking some time out to discuss what I personally think Nintendo might show off at this year's E3. It's going to be focused mainly on the Wii U side of things, because I really think that's what they need to focus on this year if they want to turn around the fortunes. Now, looking at all the crazy predictions I've written down in front of me, I've realised that this video is going to be very similar to the one that Josh Thomas did from the BitBlock. So you probably could just go and watch that if you wanted, because he's got a better accent than me as well. Okay, so prediction number one is not even a prediction, it's definitely going to be there. It's The Legend of Zelda for Wii U. We know it's going to be there, we've been told by Iwata, we've been told by Nintendo, and it's definitely going to be there in some form. I think there will be quite a big trailer. I think this will be the main focus of the digital event. I think it's going to look incredible. I think it's going to be the best looking Wii U game that we've seen so far. And I do actually believe that it's going to look like the tech demo. Maybe a touch more stylized, but I definitely think that they're going to go with the Twilight Princess vibe. Another Zelda game that I think is going to be there is Majora's Mask 3D. I really do think it's going to be there. It can't not be, can it? I mean, all the rumours that we've seen floating around, all the speculation, I'm pretty sure it's going to be there. If not, you know, happily eat a hat or something. Now, sticking with Zelda, I think we'll see more on Hyrule Warriors. I think we'll see more information about it. Maybe elaborate on the screens that we've seen recently, on the story details about the new characters, that kind of thing. I think they'll spend a decent amount of time talking about it, and I think we might even get a release date for this one. Same goes for Bayonetta 2. Release date, calling it right now. Let's say November for Bayonetta 2. Now I think they're going to talk a little bit more about Super Smash Bros., both the 3DS and the Wii U versions. I think we'll get a release date for the 3DS, an actual day and date release, and I think we'll get a more general window for the Wii U version. We had winter 2014 already. What does that mean? What does it mean? That could be anything from November to like February. So I think December. I think December for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, and probably July for the 3DS version. They'll probably show off some new characters as well. I don't think they'll release the full roster, but I think we'll definitely see some new characters. Maybe some Xenoblade love, like why is Shulk and Ryan not in that game yet? But no, the full roster I think will be a secret up until about maybe a couple of weeks before the game is out. Speaking of Xenoblade, I think we're going to see a lot more of X, and we'll get the final name. We might even get a release window, but I'm not too sure. My prediction for that would be probably second quarter of 2015. I mean, Nintendo might claim that it's coming sooner than that, but I would honestly be surprised if we saw that game on shelves earlier than, say, May of next year. Everything that we've seen about that game points to it being absolutely massive, and I just don't know if they've had enough time yet. Another game that's been kind of shrouded in secrecy that we've not seen a lot of is the Shin Megami Tensei cross Fire Emblem crossover thingamajig. I think we'll see a lot of it, I really do. I think we'll get like a blowout. I think we'll explain what the game actually is, for starters, that would be helpful. How it's going to play, what exactly you do in the game, and maybe a few screenshots, and possibly even a trailer. I'm not too sure on that one. Now, I've never actually played a Shin Megami Tensei game before, so I can't really comment, but I do believe that it's more of a traditional RPG, where Fire Emblem is more strategic, so it will be really interesting to see how that plays out, you know, not to mention the fact that they're in completely different universes. I think we're going to hear about, not see, but hear about Miyamoto's new IP. You know, a few vague hints, maybe a riddle, I'm not sure, but I don't think there'll be any screenshots or a name or anything like that. We might just get the concept or some kind of, you know, abstract thought process that Miyamoto has had that's led to an epiphany that's led to the creation of this game. Localization time, and I think we're going to get a Western release for the new Fatal Frame game. It's never really taken off in the US. I mean, we got Fatal Frame 4 in Europe, but I think this time they're going to really push it and they're going to market it as a really big horror game. Another localization that I think could happen is Dragon Quest X for the Wii U. I'm not too sure on this one, simply for the fact that it's been out for like a year now in Japan, so just to announce it now would be kind of weird, but I'm not ruling it out at this point. Now here's one that's kind of out of left field, and I don't really have any basis for believing this, but I just think for some reason that Yon Yoshi will be mysteriously absent from the main digital event, and everybody will be panicking and what's happened to it. I think it will show up maybe later on in another round table or something, but I don't think they'll talk about it in the actual main event. I don't know why, don't ask me why, I just got a feeling. Something else that I don't think will be in the main event, at least I hope not, but will be there in some capacity, is Wii Music U. You know, we've seen all the patents being released recently, and it would make sense. It's not a game that would take a massive amount of resources to make, the assets are all there, so I think that could happen. Possibly even in a style of Wii Sports Club in terms of pricing. Speaking of sizzle reels, I think we'll get one for the eShop, and we'll see a little bit more of Pushmo World that got announced recently, but it comes out like a week after E3 begins, so I don't think they'll focus on it heavily. So all pretty safe suggestions so far, but I do think we will get something like a Wii HD collection, and I'm not sure which. I think it might be either Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, or like a Project Rainfall, where you get Xenoblade, The Last Story, and Pandora's Tower all in HD. So that leaves room for one more big surprise, and I think it's either going to be Star Fox or an Eternal Darkness reboot. We saw the trademark for Eternal Darkness get renewed recently. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it is a little bit odd given the timing, and I think the Wii U would be a great console, and it's a great time to revive Eternal Darkness. Star Fox I'm not too sure on, but I would love to see Platinum Games take a stab at it. Okay, so now we're getting into the maybe category, and for some reason, something tells me that Capcom are going to show off a new Resident Evil game. Maybe it'll be like a multi-platform title, but I do think that they might be working on a Wii U exclusive, possibly in the style of like Dark Side Chronicles, where it's like a light gun shooter. Now I've put this in the maybe category because I can't even believe that this game exists, and it's Pokken Fighters. The premise of this game to me is absolutely bizarre. For anybody who doesn't know, it's basically a Pokemon fighting game, but in the style of like Tekken, like an actual traditional fighter, rather than something like Pokemon Stadium or Pokemon Coliseum or anything like that. I honestly don't know if this game exists. I don't have a clue, so it's going in the maybe category. Something just tells me that this whole thing is a really elaborate fan-made hoax, but I guess we'll see at E3. The last one in the maybe pile is a new Paper Mario game for Wii U, possibly a sequel to the Thousand Year Door. I thought Super Paper Mario on the Wii was excellent, so I would love to see a Paper Mario game for Wii U. Now here are two games that I think are quite unlikely to happen, but I would love to see them anyway. The first is a Metroid game for 3DS. Now I must be in the minority when I say I hope personally that it's first person and it's 3D. I know a lot of people are hankering for some 2D Metroid action, but personally I grew up with Metroid Prime, so to me Metroid is a 3D game, and I hope we see like a Metroid Prime Hunter sequel with fantastic online play and all that lovely stuff. Now this second game is where I'm going to get accused of plagiarising Josh Thomas's video, but I would also love to see an Endless Ocean game for the Wii U. The Endless Ocean games on the Wii were absolutely beautiful, they really were. You know, from the environmental design to the graphics, right down to the soundtrack. Endless Ocean was just such a unique experience, there's nothing really else like it. It's not really a game, but I'm kind of all about those experiences these days. But yeah, like I said, Endless Ocean is a beautiful game, and I'd love to see what they could do with the added power of the Wii U. Now here are some things that I think won't happen at E3, just to balance things out. I don't think we'll see any kind of cross-buy / cross-play system between Wii U and 3DS. A lot of people have been hoping for that, I guess, but honestly, I don't think Nintendo know how to do it. I honestly don't. I mean, they only just figured out how to get Game Boy Advance games to work on the Wii U. I just don't think they have the systems in place to implement something like that, which is kind of disappointing, but honestly I don't think we'll see it. And in fact, I don't think we'll see any sort of improvement to the Nintendo network at all. Some people have been asking for, you know, party chat, cross-game chat. It's not going to happen, I'm afraid. Something else that won't happen is Nintendo will not talk about Project Cars. It's one of the few big third-party games left for the Wii U, and it's the first racing sim on a Nintendo console for years and years, but Nintendo will predictably still ignore it. Another game that they won't show off, I don't think, is an Animal Crossing game for Wii U. I think it's too soon in the console's life cycle, and I think they're showing off too many games to kind of drop Animal Crossing into that. I think they might show that at next year's E3. I don't think there'll be any sort of major third-party announcement whatsoever. Definitely no Battlefield Hardline or anything like that. Oh, and Watch Dogs is definitely cancelled, but they won't mention it.